It's going to be tough and the whole team's got to get ready for it. And for at least the 3 weeks before the launch, say goodbye to your family. We're going to be pulling all-nighters and it's going to be hell, right? And I go, what? What the heck are you guys doing, right? Why would you do it that way? Well, there's kind of a badge of honor, no pain, no gain. And I learned there's got to be a better way.
If somebody comes to talk to you, I know you have a challenge where you take people through kind of the beginning stages of doing a launch. You have this framework that you put people through. You can share the framework with us, but then tell us what's 1, 2, 3 things that people should be looking at, thinking about, know about doing a launch, because you have some pretty revolutionary thoughts around launches. I know a lot of people think that it's just the Jeff Walker style, but walk us through how does this get started? Do you need a lot of experience? Do you even need a product to do a launch?
Great questions. And I'm going to try to cover each of those in kind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the 3 aspects of the framework. I'm going to tell you how I came to that from these experiences that I talked about. And then I'm going to show you one of those mind maps that pulls it all together. So how about that? Are you game for that, Steve?
That is awesome. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, it will be uploaded on YouTube as well. You can check it out there. But Mynders, go ahead, talk to us, walk us through the framework that you have for us.
Okay. So the framework is number 1, plan before you implement. So plan your launch, your product launch, your marketing focus, your marketing campaign, and so forth before you implement. All right. And we'll expand on these. Number 2 is do a product launch thoroughly and do it from the place of fitting into your schedule. So do it in your comfort zone, in your time frame. And again, we'll expand on that. And then thirdly, and this is a thing that is pretty much unique to my approach to doing product launches. And that is that you have to focus on your long-term plan, getting really clear on your long-term goals and sequence product launches together in order to reach that goal. So plan, do an individual product launch, implementing, and then sequencing them together. Okay, so now building some layers around that. Let me tell how this came about. So back to the story where I first year I was a project manager on this launch, and what I saw was a herding cats mentality, and I worked with Don. The next year, I was not only his project manager, but I actually ran the launch. So I was his product launch manager and did a consulting gig as his, what we term chief of staff. So I kind of ran everything and saw all aspects of it and hobnobbed with him and all of those contexts doing the product launch thing. And what I found out universally was that there was a mindset in the product launch space that, okay, we're going to do a product launch once every 6 months or a year, and let's gear up, let's put on our battle armor because we're going to war. It's going to be tough and the whole team's got to get ready for it. And for at least the 3 weeks before the launch, say goodbye to your family. We're going to be pulling all-nighters and it's going to be hell, right? And I go, what? What the heck are you guys doing, right? Why would you do it that way? Well, there's kind of a badge of honor, no pain, no gain. And I learned there's got to be a better way.
Well, to you, there's a better way. Your left brain, you are a unique combination of left brain first with a highly creative part that comes in, right? I think entrepreneurs, most entrepreneurs are so creative and they're so in their right brain. They're not laying things out. They're just like, I'm launching it. Let's do it. And like, we have a to-do list that includes things like, write an email, do a Facebook post, write this stuff out on the whiteboard, wash the car, build a house, repave the driveway, fly to Europe, and be home for dinner. And like, all of those things make sense to us because we think that time doesn't do anything, right? We see the impossible and we do it. Whereas you see the impossible, but somehow you build a framework around it and you're like, oh, we're going to do this, and then 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 we're going to go to sleep. And like, that's a new thing to entrepreneurs.
That's right. But you know what? You're absolutely right. So I not only say we're going to do this and we're going to do this and we're going to do this, but I look for validation from my clients, to see, did this work? So I used to be a lot more on the worksheets and the mind maps and so forth. And now it's like, okay, boy, I've got those over here, but I'm only going to introduce it based on the person's ability to incorporate it, and so the whole process is about everyone is unique in their ability to move forward at their pace. That's what we have to focus in on.
Awesome.
So how did I make that transition? So what happened is during that second year, between project manager and launch manager for the following year, I created the entire team structure and time frame so that we had time to do it, easily within everybody's schedule. So we started earlier and we adjusted the non-essential and put these into the schedule as well. Because my belief is that if you incorporate this into your everyday modality of running your business, then guess what? You're likely to do a launch again. If you don't, it'll be like, whoa, well, that was interesting, but I never want to do that again. And you can't get ahead unless you keep launching, And I learned that when I was selling Amazon products. I learned that product launches go on all the time. And you're constantly introducing new products and changing your marketing to get more exposure to your products on Amazon, et cetera. And then I incorporated that into the product launch online world of selling info products. So the idea is, hey, if we can accept that we're in a long-term process and all we have to do is stick with it and have a system that allows us to stick with it, then we can move ahead.
Got it. And that makes sense. I mean, it's 100% true. If you know that you can do it and it's easy and you make money from it, then you're going to do it again. But if you did it once and it was super stressful and hard and difficult, even if you made some money from it, you might say, we're going to do that again, but it will always be, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. We might do it tomorrow. We might do it next week.
That's right. So the two principles come into play. One is don't hit home runs. Hey, we're not just doing a product launch and burning out and then figuring out what's next. We're doing a planned out, purposeful, mindful product launch that fits into a bigger whole, a planned progression of a series of launches strung together that will achieve your long-term goals. So those are the hitting the singles component. And because we're not going to pull all-nighters, and we're going to fit it into what our team is comfortable doing and stretch them a little bit, we're being respectful of the people on our team. The very people we need as we expand beyond ourselves to working with others to pull this off. So that, that's how we got to that three-part plan or framework, which is plan. So we're not just planning a launch, we're planning what the whole thing looks like, looking ahead on the chessboard. And then we're taking that first step with a launch, and then we're adjusting and we're sequencing launches together. Are we going to launch the same thing to a different audience? Or are we going to go to our value ladder, which is our progression of products we can offer, and launch something else? But they have to stick together. And so in order to make that easy to convey to people, I created a model, that started on a mind map and went to a framework. And I'd love to share that with you now so that we can, talk about how that unfolds.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Let
That'd
me
be
do
great.
that. Let me do that right here.